Bath, Wanstead, Codford. What? Oh, you don't... Not just back on myself, am I? I thought I was on the 303. Strange. Curious. I thought I was on the 303. It's always a difficult one, I think, when you're on a bike with the give way, because I think bikers are, like I've said, we're more in, we know more about the law and stuff, and we know that, a dotted white line essentially means give way, whereas most car drivers think that if I'm on a slip road and I've got my indicator on, I have a right to come out. But obviously on a bike, you probably know the rules better because people are trying to kill you. But you have the power to go, well, actually, it doesn't matter. I just drop a gear and we'll make the conversation irrelevant because I'll be gone. And I think it's those kind of things where, as a bike, you think, well, I know the rules that protect me. So like, I think most bikers are pretty shit hot on the priorities at a junction or a crossroad, should I say, and giveaways and stuff, and what you can and can't do on a motorway and stuff, because it's so intrinsic to our life that I've come to a crossroads, I have right of way, and I suppose you only really get into problems when the other people either don't know the law or probably worse, are not sure of the law. So somebody who's been at crossroads for ages but still hasn't got priority suddenly thinks, well, I was here third, I should go now, when in fact, the rule says tough shit, wait. I think that's probably where we get most of the issues. It's kind of weird. This whole trip is just so I can edit stuff, so I can capture me pointing at the camera and shit like that. So I can have more than one view. I really do though want to get a gimbal set up, because I had a clip on the back of the bike with the gimbal set up, and it looks really quite well. It's a good angle. I think it's a new angle. I quite like the angle, so it'd be good to get the gimbal squared away so it works. But the last thing I want to do is mount it on me. I think it needs a sort of I wouldn't say, it needs a stable platform, and obviously a lot of the places on the bike are moving all the time, so it can't keep up with it. Right, coming into a 40 now. May as well talk politics. No? Okay. No, actually, I think bikers would be good at politics as well. And I'll explain why. I think we get a bad rap. So whatever the current derogatory term is, racist, bigot, sexist, whatever the current term is, I think bikers get that kind of brush on them as well. A generic, people think, well, they're going to say that because it's racist or sexist or whatever. And I think the reason that we'd be tarred with that is that we're a lot of the time we're not afraid to say what we think. I'm not sure if that's because we don't live as long, but we're not afraid to say what we think. And I think that's probably the biggest issue in the world now. Well, I wouldn't say in the world, but I'd say in the... When I say the world, what I mean is the countries that have stolen from other countries or have told other countries how they should live. So us, America, people like that. we've got so liberal now. We've got so many people who are liberal about everything that any conversation you have, you will get classed as a racist, sexist, bigot, whatever it is, so they don't have to have the conversation with you because they don't, there is no argument, they can't argue because if you present a rational argument against what they're saying, a fact-based argument, their get-out clause is you're a racist, you're a bigot. I think the best thing I've ever seen was it was on a white Black Lives Matter march, and there was a white middle-aged woman there with a Black Lives Matter sort of saying stuff, and they were talking. This black kid was talking to her about it, saying, well, what are the kind of things you want to stop? And she made a point about if you're an African American in Washington, which is where this was, you're, I think, 4 times as likely to get stopped and searched than if you were a white American. And the black kid said that's because if you're a black African American, you're, I think, 7 times more likely to be killed by another black African American. And he was saying, I want the police to stop and search more people. He was saying the figures and what he knows, his experience of life tells him that black Americans, where he is, are killing other black Americans at an unacceptable rate. And he was concerned that if all these white liberal people reduce the number of stop and searches that the police were carrying out on black Americans, that more black Americans would be killed. And when you hear a black young lad saying, I want them to stop and search more people, I want more of the same thing, you think, right, if I had that woman's view, which I don't, but if I had that woman's view before, that kid would have just changed my mind. I'd have gone off and researched what he'd said, and if he came to be true, I'd go, right, you've got a point there. I'm gonna burn my banner, and I'm never gonna speak of this again because what you're saying is true. But in fact, she just walked away because she couldn't use a racist argument. She couldn't say you're a racist because clearly it's a young black kid saying this, and to me that kind of sums the whole issue up. Is me as a white British guy, I can't say, look, I think that there are too many unskilled workers coming to this country for whatever means. I can't say that. I can't say what I think because my thought process won't be tested, which is what the issue is. I need to be tested on that thought process, and everyone else needs to be tested on it. But you can't test me because there's no conversation. Because everyone's so liberal. It's the thing, it's everything now, like, so Brexit and everything. Because the liberals have stopped the conversation, stopped the arguments, then whatever crazy agenda comes about, you can't argue against it because you've got rid of the whole issue, the whole sort of process of argument and debate and stuff by purely just classing somebody as, a racist or whatever. You've kind of gone the other way. And it's a bit like, I think is it Holland or Norway where that guy is openly saying, sort of, if you don't want to fit in, get out, sort of thing. And because he's saying that, I mean, I don't think you'll get in, but because he's saying that, all the other politicians have had to start saying the same thing. Because if they don't say the same thing, then he doesn't get, there's no challenge to it. It's kind of like the thing to do, the thing to have done during Brexit and the Trump stuff and stuff is take what he says, don't just call him something, actually, have a conversation about it. Sit down and say, right, this is, there's this thing that's clearly riling people. Let's talk about it. Let's not just put you in a racist bucket or a bigoted bucket. Let's actually talk about what the issue is, and see if we can come to a mutual understanding, or agree to disagree or whatever. But don't just write the guy off and say he's a racist, because it doesn't. You don't convince anyone else that your argument's right if you haven't provided any facts. If you've just, called them a racist or a bigot or a sexist or whatever. There you go. Biker politics.